Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Yes, medical fat phobia is back. We're talking about it because there's this fat TikToker that decided to have a full-on meltdown over the fact that this particular person's doctor told her to lose weight, go on Ozempic. That was one of the options that this girl was offered. But she has a full-on meltdown and breakdown because nowadays the most logical thing to do is if you want to get something off your chest, you film yourself doing it and you post it on social media for the entire bloody world to actually see. But sadly, it's not going to get you the kind of attention that you so crave. Unfortunately, it's getting you the wrong kind of attention. You're not getting the kind of sympathy votes that you thought that you were actually going to get. Now, I want to preface this by saying I'm not against, and no, I do not hate fat people at all. I don't have this fat phobia thing that people try and throw out. It's the same thing with skinny people. I am relatively a skinny guy. I do work out. I do eat relatively healthy, but I was anorexic and bulimic for a little while. I had an eating disorder and it was not fun. So it goes without saying, if you are extremely skinny, you have an eating disorder, you know you've got an eating disorder, and you don't want to put on weight, that's unhealthy. And if you are obese, morbidly obese, let's say, and you don't want to do anything for your health, that too is also unhealthy. And you should actually do something for your health so that you can be healthy, because it's not good to have excess weight and it's not good to have no weight at all, because it puts a lot of pressure, if you are overweight, on your organs. And if you are underweight, your body will start eating itself to death, starts eating your organs. That's not good because it tries to go into survival mode. But a lot of people that are morbidly obese, unfortunately, these days, there are some people out there that will try and do whatever they possibly can to lose the weight. And I know there are people out there that struggle to lose the weight, and my heart really does go out to them. And I do have a lot of sympathy for those people. It's not a fun thing to have to journey through. I got friends of mine that are overweight, but they are doing something about it. They're not sitting on their butt and complaining about it like this person loves to do. So if you go to the doctor, like this person did, and you start complaining to your doctor that this is all fat phobia, this is all stemmed in racism, sexism, the patriarchy's fault that you are morbidly obese. Unfortunately, you've got the wrong idea there, love. It's not the way that you think that it is. And where you got that idea from, my goodness, like you need a massive reality check, big time. So I want you guys to have a watch of this TikToker who decided to have a breakdown because she tried diagnosing herself based on watching a Grey's Anatomy episode, but a doctor instead suggested she lose some weight through offering her Ozempic, major weight loss drug that everyone's frothing over at the moment. And Ozempic, the guys who created it, are earning an absolute mountain and a half because of it. Anyway, have a watch. I've sped up some bits because she just rambles on in certain sections. And yeah, anyway, have a watch.
I had an appointment with my OB today, and normally she's always been very, very good. But I haven't seen her in a few months, I think since last fall, last summer maybe, not 100% sure. But she asked me how like all of my GI stuff is going because of my autoimmune disease, and I leveled with her. I was completely honest with her because I felt safe, and I told her how I felt like my doctors were ignoring me, how they were pushing me off to the side, that they weren't listening to me, they weren't going through any side effects of the medications that I'm on. One of the more severe symptoms that I do experience, I found out through Grey's Anatomy. And then she started talking to me and she's like, okay, well, what do you think you have? And I said that I had COVID last fall. and that I think that I might have POTS, and that I also might have EDS because my hip pops out of place all the time. I'm in constant pain. I have like all of these little symptoms. And then she starts going on about bariatric surgery, weight loss surgery specifically. And she knows I have a history with EDs, eating disorders. She starts talking about BMI. And then she starts to recommend Ozempic for me. And I'm getting visibly distressed on this phone call. I'm about to cry. I'm going to cry now. I asked her not to talk about BMI stuff with me because of its history as a tool of eugenics and racism and colonialism, and I'm indigenous. And then she's like, okay, what would you like me to replace that term with? And I've never had this experience with her before.
There's nothing that doctors love more than a patient self-diagnosing themselves. What is the honest to God point in going to the doctor if you're going to tell the doctor straight to their face, hey, doc, this is exactly what I've got, and you know where I got it from? I watched Grey's Anatomy, and Grey's Anatomy is totally accurate, so therefore I believe in what Grey's Anatomy said in this episode. I have self-diagnosed myself. What do you think, doc? Are you just going to give me a level of reassurance or what? Are you just going to tell me, you're totally right, you didn't need to come to see me for a second opinion at all? Like, you diagnose yourself correctly based on the Grey's Anatomy episode. No, doctors are there, as far as I'm aware. These days, I hope you have a good doctor, which is few and far between because a lot of them just want to get you in and out as fast as possible. And by the way, finding a doctor up here in Queensland is so bloody hard. God forbid you actually get really sick and need to see a doctor. They tell you to go to hospital and you wait for bloody hours in the hospital. And then you got to spend an enormous amount of money. The medical system is not what it used to be here in Australia. Like, God forbid that you actually need to see a doctor as soon as possible, because the likelihood of you getting in is so outrageously difficult. And doctors, they don't work as much as they used to either. It's like, you want to see a doctor, they only work 2 days of the bloody week. Gee, I wonder why that is. They only work 2 days of the week. It's because when they do have time for you to actually see them, they charge like a wounded bull. And then you are just pretty much the same off. And then you've got to have all these tests done and exams done. And that costs more money. It's just ridiculous. You try and avoid getting sick as much as humanly possible. But if you were to see a good doctor, the doctor that actually looks after you and cares for your health, and you get in to see them at, you know, reasonable times and not having to wait 2 to 4 bloody weeks to see them, then, you know, you actually end up with a decent outcome. But if you don't, and you get a doctor, now it sounds like this person has a good doctor. Like, she offered her a weight loss drug. Like, she obviously has some sense of, you know, I want to be as gracious to this person as humanly possible. I know that she looks and acts lazy. It's evident in this video that she is acting lazy. She's complaining, for goodness sake, over something that the doctor told her to do, lose weight, and you may actually start healing some of your issues. No. That's medical fat phobia. That's just, my other doctors don't listen to me. Right. Gee, I wonder why that is. Maybe it's because you were self-diagnosing yourself all the time. So they thought that, hey, she's right. Why bother? And your doctor right now is actually trying to help you, and you're not listening. You can't help a patient that doesn't want to listen. Patient doesn't want to listen. You as a doctor, you're helpless. You can say to the patient as much as you want, hey, you need to get help, and here's how I'm going to help you. They're looking for this magic pill. They even offered her the magic pill, Ozempic, but that's got a lot of consequences and side effects, which we're actually starting to realize now. But this person, the doctor even offered her surgery. But no, don't want to do that. So now she starts crying. because of what the doctor said. Nothing like a huge reality check, right? Massive slap to the face, like welcome. So when you start talking, I asked her not to talk about BMI stuff with me because of her history, as she's a tool of eugenics and racism and colonialism. And apparently she's also indigenous. I got no idea how BMI is related to any of those things. So body mass index, your size, I have no idea how it's related to eugenics, racism, and colonialism at all. But she's going to claim oppression on all those things. How does your body mass index relate to racism? The color of your skin. I didn't know the color of your skin is related to the size of your body. Who would have thought that the bigger you are, the more racist, the more racist prone you could be? Or, someone could be extremely racist to you the bigger you actually are. So it's not to do with necessarily racism, but it's fat phobia as well. And it's also stemmed in colonialism. I didn't know that the colonizers thought that, let's fatten these people up as much as humanly possible. I thought it was the opposite. I thought that they would make them starve to death. But these people will try and say and use whatever makes sense in their brain, but it doesn't make any sense at all logically when you break it down. They just throw out all these terms and they've gone, it must be this. And really what it comes down to is just laziness, slothfulness, we call it in the Bible. Woe be to the slothful people that do absolutely nothing with their life and complain. They're the victims. Just makes society run a whole lot smoother, doesn't it? Well, there's nothing more that we love than a fat person that believes that they're fat because of racism and colonialism. The chances of helping her or him, and you even have these other people that are saying that the world needs to accommodate to them, like we need to have plus size seatbelts and chairs for them. And same with airlines, they need to accommodate for plus size people. I mean, for goodness sake, just lose some weight or try to lose some weight at least. Stop claiming to be the victim and maybe go for a walk, go to the gym. The thing I love seeing are people that were overweight. They knew they're overweight and then they got their butts to the gym and started working out, started eating healthy. They took personal responsibility. They got their hormones in check. They started looking after themselves properly. Same goes for skinny people. Same goes for the ones like myself that were anorexic and bulimic and decided to change their life around for good. It's actually beneficial. It really is. So I love that. They're inspirational stories. I see them all the time. I love it. You see the before and the after. You're like, well done. David Goggins, man. David Goggins being a perfect example. Love that guy. Stay hard. Anyway, my friends, stay hard. You guys take care. You be blessed. And I'll see you all in the next video.